Scientists are working hard every day to uncover new truths about our horrible and depressing reality. They show time and time again that the indifference of the natural world combined with human stupidity can exceed even the lowest expectations. With each new discovery, there is another chance for humanity to overcome its ignorance and rise to meet the challenges of tomorrow. Of course, utter failure is probably the most likely outcome, but when faced with the prospect of certain doom, it helps if you feel like you can do something about it. And who knows, maybe you can. People do get lucky from time to time. Our first story might not make you feel optimistic about your chances. It's an uplifting tale about children with liver failure. Hepatitis is inflammation of the liver. When the liver becomes inflamed, it becomes bad at keeping the blood free of toxins. So, people who experience this condition often have a variety of unpleasant symptoms. Stomach pain and vomiting are among the most common. If left untreated, the result is death. Hepatitis is usually caused by viral infection, but it can be caused by other things, such as poisoning or autoimmune conditions. United States health officials are warning that the recent trend of alkaline water might also contribute to developing this uncomfortable condition. There is, or by this time perhaps was, a product called Real Water. It was advertised as a premium drinking water that was infused with negative ions. The water had a pH value of 9 according to the company's website. The pH value measures how acidic or basic a liquid is. It ranges from 0 to 14, with lower values being more acidic. Normally, water is pH neutral and has a pH of 7. But recently, there has been a trend which claims that drinking alkaline water with a pH of 8 or 9 is beneficial to good health. Real Water even claims it can detoxify, though there is absolutely no proof of this claim. In November 2020, several children in Nevada developed acute liver failure, but nobody knew why. Some adults from the households began suffering from liver failure as well. They had developed non-viral hepatitis, but the precise cause wasn't clear. The only thing they all had in common was drinking real water. The company that makes Real Water has asked retailers to pull its product from shelves while the Federal Drug and Food Administration continues investigating. For some people, plain water just isn't good enough, and for some scientists, dealing with an entire person is just too much trouble. Over the past few years, researchers have been trying to learn more about human biology by growing parts of organs. This keeps from cutting parts off living humans, and it also means they don't have to worry about treating the tissues ethically. And they have no problems putting human parts into animals. Nearly 5% of adults in the world have a condition called dry eye. Their tear ducts stop producing tears. When the eyes don't have moisture, it's a serious problem. Blindness can be the result in serious cases. Although there are treatments for this condition, there isn't a cure. Sufferers must constantly put drops into their eyes to try to keep the condition under control. Researchers in the Netherlands are trying to find a definitive cure. To help them work on the problem, they grew disembodied human tear ducts. The tear ducts were grown in a petri dish from human cells. Scientists have performed similar experiments in the past. For instance, miniature brains have been grown in petri dishes before. The tear ducts created in this experiment were supposedly the real thing, though. Next, the researchers transplanted these human tear ducts into mice. If the lab-grown tear ducts work for the mice, then the treatment might eventually be used to cure sufferers of dry eye. One day, they might have new tear ducts installed which were grown in a lab. As you might imagine, in a world where people parts can be grown in dishes, science is breaking new ground all the time. Last year was no exception. Now let's look at several records that were broken in 2020. The record for longest non-stop flight by a bird was broken in September of last year. The previous record was held by a female bar-tailed godwit in 2007. That flew over 7,145 miles during the course of 9 days. A male bar-tailed godwit flew from Alaska to New Zealand during an 11-day flight. It covered 7,581 miles. New deep-sea discoveries were on the menu too. In canyons off the coast of Australia, researchers discovered a creature that looks like a really long string. It might be the largest animal ever discovered. It's called a siphonophore and is 150 feet long. A fossilized turtle that was found may be the largest turtle that ever lived. It existed 8 million years ago. Its shell was nearly 8 feet in diameter. It would have weighed around 2,500 pounds. It was over 100 times the size of its nearest living relative today. A 31,000-year-old grave in Austria contained the oldest identical twins ever discovered. The grave was discovered in 2005, but DNA analysis completed in 2020 showed that they were indeed twins. In northern Myanmar, scientists discovered 39 tiny little crustaceans that were trapped in amber. Inside one of the females, they found sperm that was deposited there 100 million years ago. Before this, the oldest sperm was only 30 million years old. The Murchison meteorite crashed into Australia in 1969. Scientists spent years studying this space rock and found stardust inside of it. This dust was dated to 7 billion years. It's the oldest material ever found on planet Earth. It was formed before the Sun or the solar system existed. On Halloween in 2018, a massive lightning bolt was seen over Brazil. It was over 440 miles long and went down the Atlantic coast all the way to Argentina. The World Meteorological Association completed their analysis and confirmed it was the longest lightning bolt ever recorded. Last year was a good year for fossils. In Nye County, Nevada, scientists found fossilized guts. The guts belonged to tube-shaped creatures called cloudinomorphs. The digestive tracts were last used between 539 and 550 million years ago. This means they are the oldest guts ever found. Are you tired of hearing about people who are smarter than you? Now is your chance to strike back. It's time for a history quiz. In 1981, a town bully was shot and killed by 2 random people. The killers were never identified. Who was this town bully? Was it Maurice Hilleman? Perhaps it was Mark Essex. Or could it be Ken McElroy? The correct answer is Ken McElroy. He was a vicious criminal who terrorized the residents of Skidmore, Missouri for years. Ken's reign of terror ended suddenly and violently. If you want to learn more, please watch our episode, The Missouri Bully. Religion is a more recent development than stardust or guts, and it finds itself in conflict with various other belief systems at times. Atheists, unsurprisingly, don't like religion very much. Some religious people claim atheists, since they don't believe in God, don't have a moral compass. A new study found this may not be true. Thomas Stahl, an associate professor at the University of Illinois at Chicago, was the researcher who performed the study on how morality differs between atheists and believers. He used a series of 4 surveys that were answered by 4,623 participants. The survey asked a variety of questions about personal history, political affiliation, moral views, and religious beliefs. It found that where caring and fairness were concerned, the answers between atheists and religious believers were the same. More specifically, both groups valued protecting the vulnerable and fairness. So this part of human morality apparently does not require religion to exist. The groups did differ in other ways, though. Those with religious beliefs valued authority, loyalty, and the concept that something might be sacred. By comparison, atheists don't value any of these things. The study did not show why these beliefs are different. Morality is questionable under the best of times, but living without electricity in the modern world can be deadly. What would happen if an event caused North America to lose electricity for weeks or maybe months? An EMP, or electromagnetic pulse, is a huge discharge of electromagnetic energy. It can occur naturally due to solar flares. The last time this happened was in 1859, and telegraph wires all over the world were destroyed. An EMP can also be created by nuclear weapons. An Air Force base in Texas recently sent out a request for bids. They want someone to survey a facility and identify all the equipment which is vulnerable to an EMP. The Air Force then wants to take measures to protect this equipment. These tests are happening because of an executive order from President Donald Trump in 2019, which ordered the federal government to strengthen infrastructure against EMPs. There is good reason to be concerned. If a nuclear weapon were detonated 200 miles above North America, it could potentially destroy the entire power grid. Modern electronics would also fail catastrophically. It wouldn't be difficult for a determined enemy to accomplish this, but officials can't agree on how likely the threat is. There are claims that an enemy of the United States has far easier ways to accomplish similar goals. For instance, hackers could bring down the infrastructure. There is no doubt an EMP would destroy the economy and cause death throughout the continent, but it seems the US military is prepared to save themselves at least. Even though humanity might destroy itself with nuclear weapons, people are pretty smart. Scientists have wondered for a long time why modern humans developed large brains. One group of scientists has a new theory that might explain why. Between 2.6 million years ago and 11,500 years ago, the brains of modern humans increased in size. It expanded from an average of 40 cubic inches to 92 cubic inches. Once agriculture began, it shrank again to about 80 cubic inches, where it has remained ever since. Most scientists think the brain size changed because of a lot of smaller events that put evolutionary pressure on humans. A group of researchers at Tel Aviv University think it might be explained with a single event instead. Early humans fed themselves by hunting big prey such as elephants. But between 1 million and 4.6 million years ago, these large animals started disappearing. Scientists don't know if it was because of climate change or human hunting, but the main food source that fed humans was on the decline. The Tel Aviv researchers think that humans had to hunt smaller prey to survive. This was more difficult, which caused humans to develop larger brains. The smartest hunters survived, while the less intelligent humans eventually died out. Once they developed farming, then it wasn't necessary to be quite that smart, so brains went down in size to compensate. Most scientists are skeptical and point out that other single theories for human brain development have failed miserably. Are we actually less smart than our ancient relatives? We may never know. We learned a lot in this episode. If you enjoy your liver, don't drink alkaline water. And if you want to improve your mental performance, then start hunting small animals. But there are endless ways to end your existence, and scientists find new ones every year. We will keep telling you all about them whether you like it or not. But if you learned something interesting, then please consider hitting the like button, and if you want to see more, subscribe to our channel. Our parents told us we would grow up to be nothing but losers. We like to pretend your approval means they're wrong. Thank you for watching Bad Things in History.